It's alive. The wall hits back. What happens if Druddigon, typically only used as a wall, is energized and transformed into an attacking machine? Can it be an effective and strong part of a competitive deck? And if so, how would the deck be best put together? Stay tuned for gameplay action when the wall hits back. Hey, it's Insane Rider. Welcome to the channel, The Budget Gamer. Let's take a look at a deck built around utilizing Druddigon as an active attacking Pokemon. To start, Druddigon requires two energy types, fire and water. Considering this, colorless energy Pokemon would best be suited to complement Druddigon's two energy type requirement. When it comes to strong colorless energy Pokemon, Pidgeot EX is a great candidate to synergize with Druddigon. Pidgeot EX is a two-stage Pokemon, so Pidgey and Pidgeotto will also be needed. There are two Pidgey and Pidgeotto cards currently available. Which one should be selected to put in the deck? To answer this question, let's first review our basic gameplay strategy. The concise strategy for this deck centers around energizing Druddigon and Pidgeot EX. Each requires 3 energy, so we won't really want to spend much energy on the pre-evolutions for Pidgeot EX. Having the strategy clarified, let's go back to the Pidgey and Pidgeotto selections. For Pidgey, I recommend the A1 option. The genetic Apex Pidgey has a higher overall health than the A1A Mythical Island variant. This higher health could make a difference when played to the active spot and waiting to swap out for Druddigon. For Pidgeotto, I recommend the A1A Mythical Island option. Although this Mythical Island Pidgeotto requires 3 energy to attack, the energy assigned isn't wasted as Pidgeot EX also utilizes the same 3 energy. And selecting the A1A variant over the A1 genetic Apex version gives Pidgeotto more health. Having 2 Pidgeys in the deck plus 2 Druddigons equals 4 basic Pokemon in total. A 5th basic Pokemon is recommended. But before we review the final Pokemon to be added to the deck, let's discuss Druddigon's retreat cost. With a 2 energy retreat cost, and with the high cost of energizing both Druddigon and Pidgeot EX, I recommend pairing Druddigon cards with 2 Leaf supporter cards. This will nullify the retreat cost for Druddigon. Leaf will be instrumental in bringing Druddigon to the bench, either with its energy fully intact, or if it happens to not have any energy assigned. Back to needing a 5th basic Pokemon in the deck, I recommend Mew EX. Mew EX has a decent health and can be substituted as a wall if needed. This card can also be transitioned to a 3 energy attacker if Pidgeot EX hasn't made it to the table. With Mew EX in the deck, Budding Expeditioner is suggested. This supporter card brings Mew EX back to your hand. Having this ability not only nullifies damage taken, but allows for a free retreat. Swapping Mew EX at the opportune time can mean the difference between a win or a loss. Now that we've completed the majority of the tactical selections for the deck build, let's review the build in full. After which, I'll bird dive into a match for a strategic gameplay demonstration. The complete deck build includes 2 A1 Pidgey, 2 A1A Pidgeotto, 2 Pidgeot EX, 2 Druddigon, 1 Mew EX, 2 Professor's Research, 2 Sabrina, 2 Leaf, 1 Budding Expeditioner, 2 Pokeball, and 2 Potion. Alright, let's bird dive into a match. Let the KOs begin. I'm going to go ahead and queue up now. I'm doing the Versus event, the PvP 45 win event. I know it ends in a few days on the 9th. I think I'll find my best level of competition still competing in that event versus a regular random versus match. Alright, so I've lost a coin flip, which in a way means I've won. I'll at least get my first, I'll get energy first over my opponent. So I do have Druddigon. I'm going to go ahead and put to the active spot. Druddigon being my wall, as well as I'm going to actually work to attack with Druddigon. I've got a Mew EX, which could be helpful as a backup wall or even a backup energy attacker to Pidgeot EX, depending on how quickly I can get Pidgeot EX to the table. With that, I'm going to go ahead and start the battle. Okay, so it looks like we're going to be up against a Celebi EX deck. Maybe we'll see Exeggutor as well. We're probably going to... My opponent, will we see Superior as well? Let's find out. Alright, so they've got 3 Pokemon on the table. I've got 2. And with that, we're going to start the energy rounds. So, I'm missing Pidgey to start my evolutions. I do have Pidgeotto and Pidgeot EX. With this, I'll go ahead and assign a point of energy to Druddigon. Sabrina, I'm not really going to use at this point. I do have Budding Expeditioner to help out with Mew EX. With that, I'll end my turn. So it's going to take me a few rounds to get Druddigon active and engaged. Hopefully in that time I can start bringing some points to Pidgey, although I don't have a Pidgey yet. So we got an Ivysaur, so it looks like we're going to see Venusaur EX here before too long. So my opponent, KK, is off to a great start as far as filling their bench. I'm going to use this Pokeball. Pokeball is going to go ahead and bring me a Pidgey, so I'll definitely take that Pidgey. I'm going to throw that Pokeball out onto the table, and out pops a Pidgey. Perfect. I'll go ahead and assign this water energy over to Druddigon. I have water and fire as the 2 energy sources in my deck. And with that, I will go ahead and end my turn. So on the next turn, I'll be ready to attack. I've got 1 water, 1 fire, and then I have 1 colorless energy. In the meantime, after that, I'll start pumping energy into Pidgey, ultimately to Pidgeot EX. And we'll have Pidgeot EX come in as a secondary attacker. Alright, so I got Professor's Research. So let's see what Professor Oak has for me. So I'll go ahead and start there. He brings me a second Pidgey and a Leaf. That'll help with some retreat. So I'll go ahead and put the... I'll hold off on putting something else on the bench just to see what else I might need. I don't have a second... Pidgeotto, so it's not like I'm going to short myself any evolution, although I could draw it next turn. But most likely, I think I'll hold off on that. I will assign a 3rd point of energy to Druddigon. I'm going to think over Pidgey on the bench here, or not, again, real quick. I'm going to look at my opponent's hand. They got Celebi, but Celebi's not really powered up. I don't have any other evolutions. I think I'm going to wait for now, and with that, let me go ahead and attack. I'm going to do a 90-point Dragon Claw, so that'll get a match started off 1-0. Now, that doesn't really mean much. If you follow my live streams, I'll have a 2-0 lead often, and yet my opponent will come back and win. Likewise, I'll be down 0-2 and make a comeback. So I never take a lot of stock in the first few points. It's usually not until the mid to later rounds of the match where things really kind of kick in. Alright, so Lilligant going to go ahead and take a 20-point damage, a nice 50-point strike there. With that, I'm going to now go ahead and work on... Pidgeot EX, so I've got the evolution ready to go. It's all colorless energy, so I'll go ahead and assign this water energy to Pidgeot EX. I've got Sabrina, I've got a potion. Let's see, we've got Celebi EX there. I'll go ahead and apply this potion to Druddigon, just because I'll force my opponent to get 2 heads on the coin flip. With that, I will go ahead... Lilligant, if I look at Lilligant, take 1 energy from your energy zone and attach it to a benched Pokemon. So I think what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to go ahead and attack Dragon Claw. Alright, so Druddigon's already taken out 2, but now we've got the big bad Celebi EX. Let's see how this goes. Now, Pidgeot EX... I've been holding back on that one. So if my opponent's looking at my bench for Pidgeot EX damage, they're only going to see 2 at the moment. Maybe just 1. It all really kind of comes down to this coin flip. So let's see how it goes for my opponent. They're going to need 2 out of 3. There's 1 tails, 2 tails, 3 tails. Ugh. Tough coin flip for my opponent. That's going to do 0 damage. So with this, I'm going to go ahead and assign this fire energy. Yep, and they're going to concede. At this point, my wall would have done enough damage to put Pidgeot EX in striking zone. My opponent didn't really have much else to really fall back onto. And so there's a great example of Druddigon coming through with the energy and winning the match. So my zone on my deck is built with just fire and water. Druddigon's the only one who really needs those energy types. Everyone else are pretty much all colorless energy. So it all kind of synergizes and works well. All right, well, I just want to say thanks for everyone tuning in and watching. And as always, let's battle.